Hi, my name is Karin Wiener from the New Wheel in Larkspur Landing and San Francisco, and I'm joined today by Alistair. Hey, Alistair.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty great. We're here today talking about the Riese Muller Load, which is Riese Muller's hallmark cargo bike. Both of us have been riding our own loads for a couple years now.
I've got about 8,500 miles on mine. How are you doing?
I'm looking at about 5,000.
That's pretty respectable still,
It's
I'd
okay,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, we both have quite a bit of experience on this bike. I think it's a nice iterative upgrade they've made to the 2020 bike. So the first thing is that there's two sizes of the load. There's the load 60, like this one, and the load 75, like this one. 75 centimeters versus 60 centimeters, room for 3 kids or 1 adult and 1 dog, or lots of cargo. There's the footwell option too. The same bike, rides the same way, just a little bit longer. And the load 60 is obviously a little shorter. It's 60 centimeters long versus 75 centimeters long. It's really built for 1 or 2 kids. And the load 75, when Marcus Riese, one of the founders of Riese Muller, had a 3rd kid, he told his engineers to make a 3-kid cargo bike.
Honestly, I think one of the most appealing things about this bike is the 3rd seat and the ability to talk between the rider and kid cargo. Pretty awesome.
Or non-kid cargo.
That's right, like me. I'm only a kid in spirit, not in real life.
Well, aren't we all?
Do we need to snap again?
Differences with the new 2020 version, it has the new 4th generation Bosch motor on it, which is really great because you get that new high speed and high torque combination, so you can climb and go fast, which is always fun, even on a cargo bike. You can get the new roll-off internally geared hub, which is great in many different ways, from low maintenance to huge gear range. You can get that paired with the Gates carbon belt drive, which very low maintenance, is really quiet. There's new box options, new color options, but the DNA is still there of it being the load, that full suspension, fantastically riding cargo bike.
So the key feature of this bike that is so hard to know until you know it, until you've gotten on the bike and really ridden it, is the ride. And the ride comes from amazing engineering and from a full suspension setup that is totally unlike anything on any other cargo bike.
Everything pales in significance in comparison to this bike. It obviously makes it more comfortable, giving you suspension when you ride over bumps and whatnot. But Riese Muller's whole thing with it, they call it control technology, but it's all about making the bike handle really well. They use the same setup on the Delight as well. It's kind of their flagship or signature feature of this bike. It's what makes this bike ride so well and so fun, even when you're carrying a really heavy weight.
Or when you're just not paying that much attention to the pothole right in front of you. So I think, again, it's the parent thing. My brain capacity, went down about 50% when I got pregnant, still is inching its way back. And sometimes I just don't notice the bump in front of me, and I'm able to stay really safe on this machine, and it supports me to be able to just cruise around. That is in the design for sure.
The thing about the load just as a bike in general is just forget that it's a cargo bike. It's just such a fun bike to ride. I don't want to say I primarily got it for my dog, Olive, to carry, but she's certainly played a factor in why I got the bike.
Yeah, to me, it's in a league of its own in terms of a really high utility bike that also rides like the bike you want to ride. So even when I have the option to take other bikes, I take my load because it just rides so well and it's so much fun to ride whether I have kid and stuff or not.
It's the ultimate car replacement. I can do everything I need with this bike and have a lot of fun doing it.
Right, editor's note, Olive, Alistair's dog, is about 5 pounds. So
really doesn't change
doesn't change the ride so
the ride
much.
profile. I should say, when I have carried Karin in the front of my load, I've carried her
when
husband.
I was pregnant.
Yeah, I've carried her husband Brett, who's 6'4", somehow shoehorned himself into the front of my load. I've carried other friends in there too, and while it rides great as just a bike, it rides even better, which is kind of hard to, I don't know, believe or say, when you get like a good amount of weight in the front. So if you are carrying kids or whatever cargo.
What makes me excited about it is that I think that they really have understood that this is a fun, sporty vehicle in people's lives, and they've made some developments that really speak to that. So you've got your 3 options. The chain with a derailleur, which is going to ride the most similar to, I would say, a normal bike. You can shift very quickly. There's some maintenance of the chain. I've been riding mine for a long time, and I haven't done a huge amount of maintenance. I replace it, once a year. Then there is the ability to have a carbon belt drive on NVOLO or roll-off. Just means super low maintenance, don't have to oil your chain. I have to say, I'm like the guilty person who never pumps their tires or oils their chain, so anything to make it easier is great, especially when you're just running around living by bike. But it changes some of the character of the bike too. I mean, it was interesting riding the roll-off, which has this huge benefit of a system that has a really low gear for easy hill climbing, especially when you've got a full load, and a really high gear for when you're gonna go fast, which matches perfectly with this motor.
I hesitate to go so far to call it maintenance-free, but it's pretty close when paired with the Gates carbon belt drive on there. It's kind of set and forget. The roll-off hub needs an oil change once a year, and that's kind of it. It's electronically controlled by the Bosch system for changing gears, which is a pretty neat feature.
That when you come to a stop, it automatically shifts you to a lower gear. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've come to quick stops with Ida on my bike, or I'm talking to her and I'm just not thinking about shifting. And so I love that. So the other new things that I think also kind of move in the direction of this vehicle idea is this box. So the box actually opens and closes. You can lock it. It isn't like a super high security lock, but I mean, I have had countless moments in my life in the last 2 years where I have groceries from one store, I want to stop at another store. I'd rather just leave the groceries in my bike, not have to move them. And so the ability to just do a simple lock, run into a store for 15 minutes and then come back out seems tremendously appealing.
Yeah, it's great they added that.
The other key thing is the kid seats.
Super upgrade. I wish I could somehow fit in here and ride around. Kids have it pretty good these days. Yeah, absolutely. They've got
way better than when I was a kid and I had to walk to school in the snow.
They've got
way
some
better.
First class options now on the load. So the new kid seats that are on this bike, there's 2 seating positions. There's the upright seating position and the recline seating position.
For Lux napping.
Lux napping, or just real good chillin' happy times in the front of the bike.
You can also remove the kid seats without any tools. So the seats just literally pop out. If you're planning to carry kids on your load, there's lots of different options. Of course, on the Load 60, you've got box or no box. There's a rain cover option if you don't use the box and you have low sidewalls. I like the high sidewalls just because it gives especially smaller kids a place to rest their head if they're falling asleep. And it keeps their little arms inside the box as well. On the Load 75, you can choose either 3 seats or 2 seats, and there's the option of the footwell or none on both bikes. Honestly, I wouldn't order this bike without the footwell. You have the option of the Bosch Gen 4 high-speed motor or the CX drive motor, one that will give you a higher top speed, 27 miles an hour, and the other that just gives lots and lots of torque. 1 or 2 batteries. I have to say, I highly recommend the 2 battery setup.
I do too.
I can't tell you the number of times that I've been in a rush or tired or just had to ride a really long distance and I've used both batteries in a day.
The single battery option is still plenty capable for probably most normal city riding if you're charging it every 1 or 2 days. But having the dual battery option is always a great option. I generally will say, if you can swing it, the dual battery option is a really, really great option to have.
And I rode the bike postpartum, and I was in terrible shape. And I have to say, it was such a godsend because I was able to just ride the assistance really hard while I was getting back into shape and never feel like I didn't have enough power to stay safe and go where I wanted to go.
So there's some really cool little neat features that you get with this bike, such as like high beams and low beams. If you're like on a dark street, you can go super bright lights to light things up. There's a horn on it too, which is much louder than
on the high-speed version.
On the high-speed version, much louder than any little bell that you're going to have on a bike. The cafe lock is a standard feature, which is great for the quick little jumping into a bakery or something like that.
I use it in my garage like almost every night.
Yep, that too. So really nice little touches that they've taken to add the value to the bike. There's the rack is a really nice feature to have on a suspension bike. It's not a common thing to find, but adds a lot of functionality. Can carry even more cargo on the rack.
I want to do a little shout out to the Bibia strap because this is the only rack strap I've ever loved in my life. I love it so much that I had to replace mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody has a different experience of their bike. That's okay.
It holds a Granite Extreme actually really well. Yeah.
So I carry my backpack back here. I carry my baby bag back here.
Yeah.
I've carried some big things. And it's so great to just always have this handy bungee cord that isn't going to get stuck in my wheels and functions so well.
That's a big one for sure.
Love it.
Yeah. It's super adaptable, which I think you can touch on.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a really, really neat feature of the bike, especially for a car replacement for maybe a family with more than one person in it. You've got the ability to change the geometry of the bike so easily. So a really short person, I'm a little under 5 foot. I'm a confident rider at that size, can ride the bike really comfortably. And somebody tall, like 6'2", 6'4", can also enjoy the bike. And so it's flexible, it fits in your life, and it's fun to ride. Which brings me to another option that's actually on the bike this year, which is GX. So you can set the bike up with knobby tires for more adventure, touring, off-road, mixed use, or with regular urban tires. And that just gives you another kind of way of imagining your use of the bike.
Rides amazingly well for what it is too, off-road.
The Load 60 is available in 4 different colors: Sunset, Tundra, which is a pretty cool color, I have to say, Coal, which is like a matte gray, black, and White. White is going to be your high-vis, high-contrast option.
You've customized your white one pretty.
I know.
Took those stickers on it and that's pretty cool too. It's a great canvas.
It's a great canvas, and I've scratched it up a lot, and it still looks kind of okay. It's good.
Selling point.
A selling point. The Load 75 is available in charcoal and in white.
So as is the case with all of Riese Muller's bikes in their lineup, these are built to order in Germany for you, and there's lots of options.
Unless we have it in stock at the New Wheel, just saying.
We do have some in stock to save you the between 8 and 12 weeks delivery time, that's correct. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get your bike that's built just for you to your specification, you can choose many different options.
Here's the thing about the Load. If there's an outlier bike that everyone who comes to try electric bikes at the New Wheel should test ride, I would say it's the Load. Because it'll capture your imagination in ways that you really didn't expect. So, this is the part where I tell you that the reason the New Wheel exists is for test rides, for service, for coming into our store. And we have stores in San Francisco and in Larkspur. The Load 60 and Load 75 are at both stores this year, and they are ready to try.
And we can help you walk through all the various options that Riese Muller offers with their bikes too.
Yeah, that's Alistair's job. So come in, test ride, be inspired.